Back on the 5th of February, I was sitting here in my house watching television, and all of a sudden, nothing. The power went out. Total darkness. That night it was I lay under the covers shivering because I have electric heat, and there was no heat, no light. I ate a cold bowl of cereal, sat here on the sofa, and slowly I began to see my breath coming out. The temperature was down around 50 here in the house, so that's when I called the rescue squad. So I walked over to the fire and rescue. They came to me and they said, after I'd been there 2 hours, they came to me and they said, you know, the Red Cross is setting up an emergency shelter at the clubhouse. Would you like to go over? And I said, you bet your boots. So they ran me over there, you know. So I sat by the gas log fire, and believe it or not, that was so nice because after being in this house. And so one other guy and myself, we sat there, and people, you know, this one lady took our names and addresses. Then other people began to drift in, and then the Red Cross showed up. Shelley Murphy came in from the Red Cross, along with a lady from our county social services, and pretty soon a truckload of MREs, cots, nice red blankets were brought in, and and more people began to trickle in. We ended up spending 2 nights there. And I'll tell you, sitting in the shelter by a log fire wrapped in those nice red blankets was really, really nice. I'll tell you, we've become so dependent on things like electricity, like watching television and things. When you don't have any of these things, you suddenly feel lost without them. I was very grateful to the Red Cross for doing that. They certainly come through for us when we need them.
It was about 4 o'clock in the morning, January 10th. My husband was awoken by the sound of the smoke alarm in the hallway outside our bedroom. Got up, found smoke in the living room, came back and got me up. I went and grabbed the phone and dialed 911 and told them there was a fire, and it was a portable phone, carried it back to the back of the house and got my elderly aunt up, who's hard of hearing, got her up and explained we needed to get out now. Honestly, I don't remember what happened after that. I just know the next thing I knew I was outside the house. Got out of the house. Standing in the driveway watching basically the garage burn. It was not my finest hour. I'm afraid I basically lost it and stood in the driveway screaming, "Why aren't they here yet? Why aren't they here yet?" over and over and over again. And that's when Isaac and the lady came down to the truck with their blankets and their offers of coffee and water and set about trying to, you know, help us through the next step, which is, what do you do when everything that you own is gone? I remember I kept asking them over and over again, and I'm sure I drove them crazy asking this question: when does the smoke smell go away? Their presence calmed you down. You know, this is what we need to do to get things settled, and it calmed me down. They both ended up in the truck with us, just climbed on up and did what they had to do to help us figure out where we went from there. You know, it doesn't occur to you and truthfully, it's not going to occur to you when it first happens either, because you're in shock and you can't believe this has just happened and this has got to be a dream or a nightmare and you're going to wake up. But they know what the questions to ask. They know what you're going to need. You may not realize what you need, but they know what you need. And I knew from when they talked about the things that the American Red Cross does, that they responded to fires. But that's all I knew. But as soon as I saw her walking across the ice, gingerly walking across the ice towards the truck, I remembered, oh yeah, they come out when there's fires. And I never in my life thought that I'd need them. But I'm sure glad they were there.
I was finishing up graduate school. I had just finished a big hurdle and had one more project to go. And it was the day after my daughter's first birthday. I was at an advisor's house reviewing my final project for her, and then apparently I made a dramatic gasp and fell over. And my advisor, Suzanne, thought perhaps I was having a seizure or something, and said that she checked my pulse and didn't feel a pulse at all, and yelled for her daughter to come downstairs. Suzanne's daughter knew CPR. She had learned it as a student in middle school at Burley here in Charlottesville from a teacher, and it had been that I think she had learned in 7th grade, so now she's in college. It had been a long time, but she had the confidence and the wherewithal to just try it. She was only home for 48 hours actually when she happened to be there and saved my life, so I was in her house at the right time. And while she was not able to restart my heart, what she did do was somehow pump blood to my brain so that I do have, the mental capacity and physical capacity that I have today. It took the ambulance about 11 to 12 minutes to get to their house. I think it took the EMTs about 5 times to shock my heart to get it started again. My cardiologist said that he's only had one other patient within 20 years of my age that's had a cardiac arrest like this. And apparently that man was 29, and when he woke up did not have any sight. So I just feel really, really fortunate that Lise was there to save my life. I feel fortunate that my kids still have a mother. So many years after she learned CPR, and maybe at the time didn't even know if what she was doing was successful, but really saved my life. I mean, such a huge difference. If she had not tried, really I wouldn't be here today. She is part of the reason that we're working with the Red Cross to seed and fund a program for getting CPR back in schools. I asked if there was anything else that she would prefer that we do in her honor, and she said that that would be the perfect thing, and I think that means a lot. It's really not about me. It's about saving the lives of all of these people by learning something so simple as CPR.
I was very grateful to the Red Cross for doing that.
And I never in my life thought that I'd need them, but I'm sure glad they were there.